Welcome back, guys. So we come back, we are joined, and I have done the seam work and rescribed, re-riveted, polished, and generally got to a point where I think I'm reasonably happy. The hardest seams to work on was this one here. It did not come together very well, to be quite honest. There was a little bit of a step. It was a bit wibbly wobbly, as you can see by the filler. So this is Mr. Surfacer 500 that's been put on as a minor gap filler. And all in all, it wasn't too bad. There wasn't too many steps. You can just see where the little bit of filler is. That's where the worst steps were. And along this long back spine here, then there was a little bit of deviation in the warpage in the plastic, so you can see there, got a little bit of a line of Mr. Surfacer 500. But all in all, it went together really well. For rescribing, I used my Tamiya P cutter and my JLC razor saw. And for re-riveting, if I can get them, because I've tidied it all away, I've got a lot of paint lying out because I've been doing another build just to pick up my mojo off the side, because it's been quite a long build. But for the riveting, I used my Galaxy Tools 1.25 rivet wheel. I actually used the big one, not the small one. I have both sets. And that was the 1.25mm pitch was the perfect pitch to match in with the existing rivets on the model. So, also done is I have used the Edard mask set. We've masked up the cockpit canopy and we've masked up the nose canopy, but I've just held off from putting them on at the moment because I want to get this all together, and I want to do every little bit of sanding I need to do before I actually put those canopies back on, because I don't want to get dust trapped underneath it. Right, so what next? I hear you say, well, I've got one more little paint job to do, and that is just to paint up the ammo feed chutes here for the front turret. So that'll be done just in a wee while. All it'll be matte black for the metal, and then a little bit of brass in to replicate the brass of the shell casing. We've also got to put the masks on the exterior of the windows. Again, I'll just do that off camera. It's quite a simple task. And we need to put the wind baffles on here and here for the waist gunners, just before we think about paint. And that's the next sort of big conundrum, is paint. Obviously we need the tail on because that's a huge gap we need to fill in to stop overspray going into the fuselage, and obviously protect the inside of the glazing. For the turret, the Astrodome and the rear ball turret or lower ball turret, I'll use foam to plug those holes. For this area here, I'm going to use the closed Bombay doors to blank that off. We could try and use a bit of foam, but I think it would be easier just to use those doors with a little bit of PVA glue, just glue them in place, and then when it's painted we can do a bit of surreptitious masking just to flash in any colour that has been missed, whether that's in the Bombay or just along the bottom here. And then we'll do some foam masking here for the front wheel well. Obviously this canopy glass is going to be on, this glazing is going to be on, and the main cockpit canopy glazing is going to be on. And that will close up the fuselage for paint. Now the next thing as well is, how are we going to paint? And when I say how are we going to paint, I'm referring to, are we going to paint this thing in parts, or are we going to put it all together and paint it? Because as you can see with the design of the wing, then it's this center wing spar alignment, and then it locks in to about sort of from probably 3mm to 5mm of the wing root actually sits into the recess in the fuselage. So technically we could actually paint this wing off the model, and then you could leave it off for transportation and storage, or in my case I'm thinking that I actually want to just join it all together, and that's twofold. That way I can do all the glue in and make sure that I can do any cleanup, and if there's any small gaps, as there is just there, we can do a little bit of Mr. Surfacer and get those closed in. And also the demarcation line is actually quite low on the fuselage, so we've got enough room that this we'll be able to mask this lower wing surface off, because this is all neutral grey, so we can mask this off and spray in the olive drab, and then that'll give us a nice colour demarcation. Obviously if we spray grey first and then olive drab over it, so that's how we do the masking. And the other thing we've got to think of is, oh, it's so huge, we need to be able to spray on, I think, the de-icing boots along the front wing of the front edge, leading edge of the wing. Again, that shouldn't be too bad. It would be easier, certainly for this part, having it off the model, but in all realism, this will make no difference whether it's joined, again, for these inter-engine parts and the wing tip part. And the other thing I suppose to think of is if we leave it separate pieces, then it's a lot easier to handle, because when you certainly assemble it all, you are looking at a huge lump of a model. So that's when it starts to occupy every space on the bench. As you can see, it's that big. You can hardly get it in the wide angle focus of the camera. And the final thing you need to consider as well is if you don't assemble it, then you still need to take time to fit the wings, to get them in alignment across the fuselage, and then you need to fit the tail and make sure that that is parallel to the wings, because if you didn't, if I can just fit that in there, it's a bit of a tricky fit. There we go. No, it's not in. There we go, it's in. So you need to be able to look down over the wings down to the tail to make sure that the surface of the horizontal stabilizers are parallel to the surface of the wing, and then you know you've got the model in a true state. Especially if you're going to do competition, that's the sort of thing we look at, that everything is in the correct alignment to one another. So even if you weren't going to fix the wings, you still need to put the wings into the fuselage and make sure they're a really good fit before you put the tail on, to make sure you get that alignment done. So there's all the pros and cons. As I said, I'm of the opinion that I'm just going to join it all together. Purely that's the way I like to paint models, but also it means I can get every last scrap of cleanup done before we commit to paint. And then when we commit to paint, we're not going to have to go back on ourselves. Certainly after the primer coat, we're not going to have to go back on ourselves and, you know, sand some more and reprime. It's just going to be ready to go. So that aside, then we need to consider actually how we're going to do this. What glues are we going to use? It's a big model, so we need to use strong glue. Now you could use super glue, nothing wrong with that. Personally, it's not what I want to use. I'm going to stick to my trust method of Revell contactor, and then just washing it over with Tamiya extra thin. And I'm not using the fast set, and I'm going to use the standard Tamiya extra thin because I want that little extra drying time, just to give the glue time to bite. So when we look at the end of the wings, then we can see that we've got a nice flat mating surface to the inner recess on the fuselage. So obviously we need to use that as a gluing surface, so that bonds to the fuselage nicely. And then also we've got the recess in the wing where the wing spar joins, and looking at the wing spar, then this is the surface here, and here we need to glue, and potentially here, because they're the surfaces that will butt up to the inner surface of the pocket in the wing where that goes. And then finally what we can do is we can then brush around the root of the wing Tamiya extra thin to seal up the actual wing to fuselage joint here on the recess. But with those three gluing areas, we should be guaranteed to have a really strong, well bonded wing to the fuselage that will be able to support the quite significant weight of lead that's in that aircraft. And that's the final thing you've got to consider, is if you're making this a non-tail sitter, then you're going to have to put lead in. As I thought it was probably about 160 grams. So whatever we do, it's got to be strong enough to hold that weight. Right, so that aside, let's get going now. I've just pulled the cap off my glue and it's already dribbling everywhere, much to my angst. So I'm just going to get a bit of kitchen towel and clean my mat up, because I don't want to set it down on a glue spot and end up causing unnecessary damage. So that's that cleaned up. So using this, I'm actually going to glue the inside area, and that's primarily because it's going to minimize the opportunity for glue spillage and onto the outer surface of the aircraft. We don't want to do that. We want to keep this as neat as possible, because the surface detail is so nice, and it really is really nice. HobbyBoss at its best. And then we want to just get that glue and apply it. Little zigzag pattern. To that. And that's plenty. You don't need to go overboard. And then we'll get the wing, and it's just a simple case of locating it and sliding it on. And then we want to give it a good firm push. There we go. Now we're happy with that. We'll go and do the same to the other side. And this is where you're going to struggle, and I apologize if I don't get it in frame, but as I said, as soon as you put the wings on this thing, it becomes a massive lump of a model. And I did a similar thing with the Catalina build I did a couple of years back, or last year, where I took the decision to join the wing before paint, and that was purely to get all the seams sorted out and make sure that I didn't destroy any painted surface detail, because we worked really hard to get these models painted and weathered. Last thing you want to do is come in with glue and drop a load of glue on your new painted model and have to go back and redo the work. So same again, glue in the root, glue around the surface of the wing spar, locate, slide on, and then push in. And the Revell contactor grips fast, it really does. A little bit of pressure from both sides, nice and even, and that will melt the plastic and start the bonding process. Now that we've done that, we want to come in with the extra thin. Just tilt the model a little to aid the capillary flow. Get a good brushful, start from the front and work your way back. And the extra thin may actually melt enough plastic to work as a simple filler for any gaps in this join. So we can put plenty in right to the end of the wing, and then we need to turn it over. So I have to take it away from the camera to do that because it's so big. And then onto the undersurface of the wing, again start the front, work your way to the back. And the other good thing about the extra thin is that, I said this many times before, if there is any small glue seepage from the Revell contactor, the extra thin will dissolve it and melt it back into the joint, which makes cleanup a lot easier. That's the wings on, dead simple. That's the point I've been waiting to get to for quite a while, let's be fair. So now that the wings are on, we need to be more and more careful. And the other thing to be mindful is you've got the gun turrets on, so you want to watch where you're lumping this thing around, because you don't want to knock the guns and break the barrels off. If I was building this again, I'd probably get a master set of gun barrels, and obviously trim off the plastic ones, drill them, and then leave the barrels off until complete final construction, and then just glue them in with super glue, and that way you're not going to break any. But I haven't done that, so we're just going to have to be careful. Right, tail now. Just going to do a quick check again, make sure that's pushed in, it's located fine. It is. It's a really nice clean joint. So how we're going to glue the tail? Well, the tail, very, very carefully, we're going to come in. Now don't glue right up to the turret, because you could get glue seepage and lock the turret in place. As it's happened in the front turret, this one is still movable, and we do need to be able to move it a little to make sure we can get the masking off it. I'm not sure how I'm going to do that on the front turret. We'll cross that bridge towards the end of the build. So keeping it away from the end there. I'm just going to apply that glue to that surfaces. And use your fingers to steady it so you don't overshoot. And then just get on these rivy bits here. We can do these back ones as well. That's as far as I've gone with the glue. And then we need to make sure we run a little bit along the front edge joint here. Into that step there and that step there. There we go. Again, we want to make sure that this joint is glued nice and strong. And then just come in and just pop them in. And he will go nicely with the glue, because the glue acts almost like a little bit of lubricant as well. So it will aid the part going in. And we just want to hold it down basically now. Best clamp in the world, your hand. Now's the time to eyeball. And that's gone down perfectly, and it's absolutely parallel to the surface of the wings. So it's a nice joint, not too much. There's going to be a little bit of fettling there, maybe a little bit of ex-surfacer, Mr. Surfacer 500, but nothing deadly. Now we'll just go in with the extra thin. I'll just have to take this off camera and turn it, and same again, just come in here with the extra thin. Don't go all the way to the back, although capillary action may actually do that for you. Run that in, that's enough. Turn it back over, and again, just come in and push down. And we're just going to hold that in position as it's curing. We're going to check to make sure the alignment hasn't shifted any. That's the bulk of the main components together, and we've actually got ourselves a B25 in our hands. And that is a huge model. So I'm going to just hold on to this for a moment, just make sure as the glue cures the alignment stays in a line, and then we'll come back when we're ready to look at getting some paint down on this. So I'll finish the alignment checks. I'll put the masks on the canopies. We'll get foam in the apertures. We're not going to put anything in at the moment. And I'll get the canopy parts on too. And then we'll come back when we're actually ready to put some primer down, and we can start discussing paint. So see you again shortly.